Welcome to On Course Financial, charting your financial future. This is the podcast for people who want clarity and confidence in their financial decisions. The BAB Group is a proactive accounting and wealth management firm focusing on individuals and small business owners to provide holistic advice when it comes to navigating their financial futures. We help those individuals and business owners understand their numbers, connect them to real decisions, and use them to plan for the future, not just react to the past. In our podcast, this is where we talk about the real intersection of business, taxes, retirement, and life planning. Each week, we focus on helping small business owners and individuals make clearer, more confident financial decisions without hype and without the guesswork. Today's episode, The Fiscal House, Why Real Planning Has to Adapt Over Time. Most people think of a financial plan as something you create once, put in a binder, and check every few years. But real life doesn't work that way. Careers change, health changes, markets change, tax laws change. And if your financial plan isn't built to adapt, even a good plan can slowly stop working. Today, I want to reintroduce you to a concept called the fiscal house approach to wealth management and show you why planning isn't about predicting the future. It's about building a structure that can adjust when the future changes. Welcome to On Course Financial, charting your financial future, the podcast for people who want clarity and confidence in their financial decisions. I'm Chris Brumlow, a financial professional, an investment advisor representative, and a retirement planning specialist with the BAB Group. In this episode, we're going to talk about how real financial plans are built and why adaptability matters more than perfection, and how your planning priorities can change depending on where you are in life. Let's talk about why set it and forget it planning fails. Most people don't fail at retirement because they didn't save. They fail because their plan never evolved. Here are a few real world examples I see all the time. Someone saves aggressively in tax deferred accounts, only to discover later that their taxes are now one of their biggest expenses. A couple plans to retire at 65, but then a health issue, a job change, or family needs shift that timeline completely. A business owner assumes they'll just sell the business, but never plans for the timing, taxes, or income replacement. None of these are mistakes, they're planning gaps. And that's why we use the concept of the fiscal house, because it forces us to look at the structure, not the numbers. So, what is the fiscal house? The fiscal house is a way to visualize your entire financial life as a house. And just like a real house, you don't start with the furniture or the appliances. You don't guess where the walls are going to go. You don't hope the roof holds up. You build it intentionally. The fiscal house has a foundation, walls, a roof, living space inside, and boundaries around it. Each part serves a purpose, and each part needs attention at different stages of life. Let's talk about the foundation. That's income and cash flow. That applies to all stages of your retirement planning and enjoyment. The foundation of the fiscal house is income and cash flow. If your income becomes unstable, everything else becomes stressful. In the accumulation stage, income supports savings and growth. Cash flow decisions determine how much flexibility you build. In pre-retirement, income planning shifts towards replacement. You start asking, what happens if I stop working sooner than expected? In the distribution phase, income becomes the plan. Predictability matters more than growth alone. A strong foundation answers one key question. Can your income support your lifestyle even when things change? Now, the walls. There are savings, investing, and tax strategy. The walls support the house over time. This is where saving strategy matters, investment allocation matters, and tax planning works together with all of that. In the accumulation phase, the focus is on growth. But this is where you save, and how you save matters just as much as how much. In pre-retirement, tax diversification becomes critical. You start managing tax risk on what you've already built. In the distribution, after tax income is what counts, not just account balances. Walls are built walls that are built without tax strategy often look fine early, but crack under pressure. The roof protects everything underneath it. This includes life insurance, disability planning, healthcare planning, long-term care planning. In the accumulation phase, protection replaces income and safeguards dependence. In the pre-retirement phase, coverage gaps become dangerous. Planning shifts towards preserving assets. In distribution, healthcare and long-term care risks can dominate your plan. And without a roof, one storm can undo decades worth of work. Let's talk about the interior. That's your retirement and lifestyle planning. This is where the plan becomes personal. The interior is about how the house is lived in. Questions like, what does retirement really look like? How active do you want to be? What do you want your money to do for you? In accumulation, retirement feels far away. In pre retirement, the questions become real and urgent. And in distribution, the plan must support real life and not spreadsheets. This is where adaptability matters the most. Now, the fence. That represents legacy, and asset protection. The fence defines boundaries and intent. That includes things like estate planning, beneficiary coordination, legacy goals, asset protection. And a well built house without a fence often creates confusion for the next generation. Now, questions you should be asking about your plan. No matter what stage you're in, there are a few questions worth asking. Income and cash flow. Where will my income come from if something changes? How predictable is my future income? Taxes. How much control do I have over my tax rate in retirement? Am I diversified across tax buckets? What could derail this plan under risk? What happens if the markets or health doesn't cooperate? Now, retirement timing. What if I retire earlier or later than planned? What decisions become permanent at retirement? Adaptability. If laws change or life changes, can I adjust my plan accordingly? Or am I locked into assumptions? If your plan can't answer these, it's not broken, it's incomplete. Now, why adaptability is the real goal? A good plan doesn't predict the future, a great plan adapts to it. The fiscal house works because it evolves as you move from accumulation to distribution. It highlights what needs attention now and not all at once. It keeps all decisions connected. Let's look at the fiscal house in real life. I want to walk through a few real world examples and show you how the fiscal house changes depending on where you are in life. In the accumulation, you're building the house. In pre retirement, you're stress testing it. In distribution, you're living in it. The fiscal house works because it evolves with you. Now let's start with an accumulation stage, building the house. Think of a couple in their late 30s or early 40s. They're working, raising a family, and earning a solid income. They're doing the right things, contributing to 401ks, adding to a Roth, paying down debt, saving what they can. On paper, everything looks fine. But here's what often gets missed. Most of their saving is going into tax deferred accounts, and there's little attention paid to the tax diversification. Insurance coverage hasn't been revisited since the kids were born, and their fiscal house looks like this: strong foundation. The walls are growing but one dimensional. The roof is thin, and the fence is non existent. The risk isn't today, the risk is locking in decisions that limit flexibility later. In the accumulation stage, good planning asks, are we building in tax flexibility now? Are we protecting income if something should happen? Are we leaving the future options open? This stage is all about building the house correctly from the start. Let's look at a pre retirement stage, stress testing the house. Think of someone in their late 50s, early 60s, peak earning years. Retirement is no longer abstract, it's close. They've accumulated well. Their account balances look impressive, But most of the money is still in traditional 401ks or IRAs. They assume I'll deal with taxes later. And this is where the cracks start to show. When we map their fiscal house, the foundation is about to change. Income will stop. The walls are strong but tax heavy. The roof may not cover health care or long term care risk. The interior hasn't been defined. This is the stage where adaptability matters the most. Good planning asks here, what happens if I retire earlier than planned? What if tax rates are higher in the future? Should I shift some money now while I still have income to control? Pre retirement isn't about starting over, it's about reinforcing the structure before you move in. Now let's look at the distribution phase, living in the house. Think about a retiree in their early 70s. Social Security has started, RMDs are beginning or just around the corner. They did a great job of savings, but almost all of their income comes from taxable sources. They feel boxed in. Every withdrawal triggers income tax, Social Security taxation, higher Medicare premiums. And their question isn't how much do I have, it's how much can I safely spend without creating tax problems? This is where the fiscal house either works or it doesn't. A well built house provides multiple income sources in multiple tax buckets and control over which and where those income come from which bucket. The flexibility to respond to health, market changes, or family needs. A poorly balanced house creates anxiety, even when the net worth looks fine. Now let's look at an adaptable plan, what good looks like. Let's contrast all of what we've talked about with a plan that's been built intentionally. This household has multiple sources of income, money that's spread across the taxable, tax deferred, and tax free buckets. Insurance is lined with current risk. Estate and beneficiary plans are in place. When life changes, and it always does, the plan adjusts. They don't panic when markets move. They don't fear tax surprises. They don't delay living because they're unsure. That's the power of adaptability. These examples all share one lesson. Planning isn't about predicting exactly what will happen. It's about building a financial house that can adjust when life doesn't go according to plan. Here's the big takeaway. Wealth management isn't about chasing returns. It's about building a fiscal house that can support your life through the growth years, the transition years, and the retirement years. When your plan adapts as your life changes, financial confidence replaces financial anxiety. In future episodes, we'll break down each part of the fiscal house even further so you can better understand how your own plan is built. Thanks for listening. I'm Chris Brumlow, and this is On Course Financial, charting your financial future. As we wrap up today's episode, remember this: clarity leads to better decisions, and better decisions lead to better outcomes in business, retirement, and life. Our goal with this podcast is to educate, inform, and help you think more clearly about the financial choices in front of you. Before we go, a quick reminder. The information shared in this podcast is for general education purposes only. It's not intended to be accounting, tax, investment, legal, or financial advice, and should not be relied upon as such. Every situation is unique, and decisions should be made upon your own individual circumstances and goals. If you have any questions about how these topics apply to your specific situation, we encourage you to consult with a qualified professional. Thanks for listening to On Course Financial, charting your financial future. Join us next time as we continue to explore the ideas, strategies, and insights that help you move forward with confidence and stay on course. I'm Chris Brumlow. Thank you for listening.